Matthew Stafford wants his pay doubled, but it's not as wacko as it might sound. With all the big injuries and the even bigger signings, there actually may be a secret weapon in the back of the Dodgers bullpen, and the Chargers GM thinks they can retain both free agent pass rushers. Good luck with that. And good morning. I'm James. This is your daily dose of sports and snark for the greatest sports city in the world, Los Angeles. This is the faithful Angelenos morning report. So, it's February 26, 2025. Still in Portland, still feels like I am staring into the abyss, which, hey, that's life. Because even in bad times, there's always good things to talk about, and that includes LA sports. If you like being in the know about LA sports, click the like button. Click the subscribe button. There's a notification bell. Hit that. It'll let you know when we drop new content. Sharing is caring. Let people know we exist. And by all means, comment now before we go through the news and notes. A look at the scoreboard. Pretty good day for the Angelenos. Lakers 107, Dallas 99. Luka Doncic effed around and got a triple-double against his old team. LeBron James scored 21. The Lakers are currently fourth in the Western Conference. They are just 2 games out of second place. This is actually something that appears to be working out, which is coming to the surprise of many, including little old me. So cool. Also, LAFC 1, Colorado nothing. The Black and Gold advance out of the first round of CONCACAF Champions Cup. They're going to face Columbus in the second round. Weird night at the stadium. Former Galaxy player Marky Delgado scored the game winner, but one of the Rapids accused an LAFC player of using a, quote, derogatory term, which sounds a lot like racial slur to me, but we don't know a whole hell of a lot yet. So there's going to be an investigation. I don't want to rely on internet gossip, and because of that, I'm going to keep the names of the people involved out. It's not a cool thing to just throw the word racist around unless you actually know what the hell you're talking about. Meanwhile, today, the Clippers are in Chicago at 5. The Clippers are on a 3-game losing streak. Vancouver is at the Kings at 7. Ohio State is at USC. That's at 7:30. And what do you say we get to the news? We have a number. Yippee! According to the NFL Network, Matthew Stafford wants his pay to maybe double in the upcoming year. At least $50 million is what he's asking for. Just a little chump change, right? Now, I realize when I say he wants his pay to basically double, it sounds insane. None of us go up to the boss and ask for double of our pay. Not if we want to keep the damn job, right? But if you catch your breath and then you look at the quarterback market landscape, if $50 million at a minimum turns out to be the case, Stafford would be back in the top 10 among quarterback pay. He's nowhere near it now. He's currently set to make about $27 million for 2025, which is kind of tough to live on in LA, but it's a start. The website SportTrack believes his value is at about, say, $42 million. Now, how they've reached that number, I have no effing clue. You know? I mean, Moneyball. Go figure. As for the market to trade for Stafford, because obviously there had been a ton of rumors that have been thrown around, the NFL Network is reporting that other teams would be clicking their heels to pay Stafford at least $50 million. Now, that could just be talk from Stafford's agent. Remember, it's not just the dollar amount that's being thrown around. In other words, a phantom team, for all the rumors, a phantom team is probably going to have to send major assets, including a first-round pick, to the Rams in order then to follow up and then pony up $50 million. Big ask. Now, Sean McVay reiterated his preference. He went on some random podcast and said, quote, "Our first goal in mind is to have him come back as our quarterback," unquote. All of this, of course, suggesting Stafford stays, but that's not going to stop the clickbait porn. So, get out the Jergens lotion for these two stories that are very, very likely going nowhere. The New York Daily News says Aaron Rodgers wants to play for the Rams and would talk Davante Adams into coming. Ooh, no. No. Even if I were to assume that Rodgers has another year in him, which I don't, Adams quit on 2 teams last year. What makes Davante Adams valuable now? Right? The only time he was elite was when he was A, young, B, with a not senior citizen quarterback in Aaron Rodgers, because Rodgers could stay on the field and find him open. None of those are sure things now. None of them. The second is a report where sources in the Rams just love them some Jimmy Garoppolo. Now, I believe they love them some Jimmy Garoppolo. But then the reporter / pornographer hedged his bets, quote, I don't think this is a leverage play. I don't think this is them daring Matthew to walk, unquote. So big effing whoop. Big whoop. But if you want to keep chit-chatting about Stafford, I'm willing to hear you out. Meanwhile, over at the Dodgers training camp, spring training I should say, a guy who was a super long shot to the Dodgers rotation, Michael Grove, he's not going to be available at the start of the year, so you can cross him off of any list. He injured his pitching shoulder after he had a really bad season last year. He was considered a top prospect 2 years ago. Last year, really bad season. Kind of went back and forth between spot starts and the bully. He injured his pitching shoulder coming in from the bullpen during a playoff series against Slime Diego. Dave Roberts told the LA Times Grove is behind schedule on his throwing program by about a month. In an oddity of the Dodgers' 40-man roster, right-handed reliever Edgardo Enriquez pitched more postseason innings last year than he did regular season innings. They put the dude on a fast track because he has an upper 90s fastball with a slider. It's not refined. It's just too damn good to pass up. Somebody who almost hits 100? Yeah, you kind of don't want him wasting all that power in the minors. So they brought him up last year. The rotation was in shambles going into the playoffs. And because the rotation was in shambles, they knew they were going to have bullpen games. They needed to get extra arms in the bullpen. I bring Enriquez up because, you look at the Dodgers bullpen, and this guy who was deep in the lower minor leagues last year has a shot to become a major player. We just mentioned Grove. And yes, the Dodgers have added a couple of solid former closers, particularly Tanner Scott. But, again, Grove, we don't have a solid idea of when Michael Kopech will return. He has a forearm issue, and I wouldn't close the door on Tommy John surgery for the guy, as ugly as it sounds. Brusdar Graterol underwent shoulder surgery 3 months ago. Don't be surprised to see Enriquez given some really quality spots. Don't be surprised. Chargers general manager Joe Ortiz told ESPN the Bolts want to strike a deal with free agent edge rusher Khalil Mack because, duh. Quote, I had conversations with Khalil in December and certainly after the season, and we've talked with his representation, and just to keep on chipping away at it, unquote. The GM said he hopes to get a deal in place before free agency opens. The Chargers have also, quote, had some conversations about contract extensions for left tackle Rashawn Slater. Ortiz even got a little awkward about talking about Slater, saying, quote, I love Rashawn. I love Rashawn, unquote. Once is enough, bro. Just once, right? I get it. We all get a little bit too wasted at the club, get a little emo, you grab your boy. I love you, man. I get that. I guess that's okay. But twice? Party foul. Party foul. Ortiz also added that pass rushing mate Joey Bosa is realistic, he said. Realistic. How realistic? Maybe as realistic as Henry Cavill's Superman when they tried to CGI out his mustache in Justice League. Sounds about as realistic to me. But who am I? You never know with the NFL salary cap. CBSSports.com is a website of lists. We've talked about that before. Top 10 this, power ranking that, blah, 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 blah. But once in a while, they're going to generate a list that is actually worth talking about. The NFL Draft Combine opens tomorrow. CBS Sports suggests that the following players could make a name for themselves this week in Indy. USC running back Woody Marks, for example. If you're a team in need of a multi-purpose back, but you don't want to sell your picks to move up for Boise State's Ashton Jeanty, Marks actually could slide up. He could be a day 2 guy. They also like the energy of UCLA edge rusher Oluwafemi Oladejo. The fact that he adjusted to the edge in just 1 season after playing linebacker at Cal. San Diego FC has acquired a defender from LAFC, Luca Bombino. There's an option for him to stay there as a permanent transfer. The dude, all of his games played were with the Black and Gold's MLS Next Pro League team, which means, yeah, they called him up to sit on the bench a couple of times. He's only 18. He's got plenty of opportunity to grow with an expansion team. Maybe he actually gets on the pitch. But you let me know what you think in the comments thread. Talk to me, for example. Would you double Matthew Stafford's pay? I know it's top 10 quarterback material. You could argue he's top 10, but would you double it? For that matter, what is your theory on the Dodgers bullpen? And if the Chargers can retain their pass rush? And if you enjoyed the content, don't forget to subscribe to Faithful Angelenos. We are talking LA sports every single day here. Thank you for watching. I'm James. We'll be back tomorrow. Faithful Angelenos is a Kian Cortel Queso production. Take care.